When we think of a data breach, the public perception really is what we're looking at are lawsuits and claims of that nature, which are real and expensive to defend. But before all of that happens, there's a very intricate and expensive process that goes into investigating what has actually happened and then responding to the breach. You know, the law requires you, when you have a reasonable suspicion that something has occurred, to really investigate what's happened, and when an individual's information is affected, to notify them. So what does that usually entail? Well, it entails 5 or 6 separate components of the response, all of which can get quite pricey. Typically, once you've discovered something, your first stop really should be outside counsel. It should be an attorney that has specific experience in this field. It is a very specialized field. It's niche and recently developed. So you're really looking for someone that has a lot of experience with data breach, with breach response, and those type of attorneys are few and far between and can understandably get to be quite expensive. The next stop, typically, when we're dealing with a breach, particularly an IT-related breach, is a IT forensics provider, which is an even more specialized skill set. It's really about the forensic evidence gathering capabilities to prove or disprove that a systems breach has occurred. Once those 2 points are put together, once we have the legal and forensic review, once we know that a breach has happened, once we can show that, the next step, the next part of the process, which is also quite pricey, particularly as we're talking about a larger breach, are the logistics, the mechanics of notifying the individuals that have been affected by the breach. What that will usually entail is mailing them breach notification letters. Most of the laws out there require you to notify folks by U.S. mail. So if we're talking about a breach of 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people, that becomes not an insignificant chunk of money just to get them the letters out the door. The other aspect of that is dealing with these folks. So, you know, if you send them a letter and you say that you've breached my information, they read that, they're often very likely to want to call in, ask questions, and thinking about how you're going to handle that process, particularly on a larger breach, is quite important because you really want the messaging to be sound. You want folks to understand what happened in a consistent way. So usually the best practice, particularly of a larger type of incident, is a call center where trained call center agents are there to handle these calls and make sure that everyone is hearing the same message. That type of service can also get quite expensive. And last but not least, if we're talking about an incident that entails social security numbers or financial information of some sort, what we're really looking to do more often than not is provide the patient, the employee, some type of remedy, a way to protect themselves from damage to their credit file. And the industry standard response in that case is credit monitoring. And really, once we're done with those things, when we're past legal, forensics, printing notification and mailing, a call center, credit monitoring or identity theft protection, we can be looking at hundreds of thousands, several millions of dollars for a breach of maybe 50,000, 100,000 individuals.